We hold a lower self-image, like the image we have about ourselves internally, is generally quite low. You know, we kind of beat ourselves up internally. And sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes we'll have an image that we project that's actually higher than what we feel about ourselves, or even what others feel about us. And we're going to be talking about two chakras today. The brow center, which is the third eye right in between the eyebrows, and the crown center, which is at the top of the head. So again, with these chakras, there's 7 of them. And the first one is at the base of the spine. The second one is halfway between the base of the spine and the navel center. The third chakra is right at the navel center. The fourth chakra is the heart. The fifth chakra is the throat. The sixth chakra is the eyebrow center that we'll be talking about today. And the seventh chakra is the crown, which we'll also be talking about today. So, although we have 7 chakras, as I mentioned before, we have 72,000 nadis. And so the chakras carry energy through the major chakra centers, but then the nadis distribute that energy throughout our entire body to every single one of our cells. So it's a pretty huge system, our energetic system. And it's an important one too, in terms of whatever is showing up for us from a physical health and disease standpoint. It starts in the energetic system and works its way from that subtle energetic system to a grosser, and then finally into the physical. Pretty important that we ensure the quote-unquote health of our energetic system, because that in turn ensures the health of our physical system. So that's why we even pay attention to our chakras in the first place. Now, each chakra has a gland in the body that it's associated with. It has an element that it's associated with. It has a mantra, and it also has a thought current that often will block this chakra. And so I'll be talking about each of that for both the brow center and for the crown center today. For the third eye, it's associated with the pineal gland. The element that it's associated with is not the usual type of element. We usually think of fire, water, earth, and air. This element for the third eye is our mind. And the mantra is Om. And then the thought current for the third eye is seriousness. So let's dig into what that really means. We're very complex human beings, and so we carry an image about ourselves internally, the things that we think about ourselves but we really don't say to other people. And we also carry an image, or project an image, I should say, to other people about who we are. And most often, those two images are not aligned. And it is the misalignment of those two images that has us blocked in our brow center. So let me explain that a little bit and say it again, perhaps a little bit different way. We walk around thinking all the things about ourselves. Like, oh, I'm so horrible at math, or I never really could play the guitar very well, or I just really don't think I can ever really excel at my job. So we carry all of these beliefs about ourselves, including good ones, like, wow, I'm just an excellent cook. So we carry all those beliefs about ourselves, and we also project. Say, for example, this is a favorite one of mine, is I like to think, or project, I should say, that I'm kind of a courageous person. I just kind of go after things. But if I really sort of look at internally what's my story I have about myself, I think I project that I'm more courageous than I actually feel. So I can be, certainly fear will be a bigger part of my life than I think I let on. That's just a small example of the incongruence that can happen between what we really believe about ourselves and what we project externally to other people about ourselves. And if we kind of look at that a little bit more closely and kind of almost like list them out, here's the characteristics that I think of me. I don't share that necessarily, I just think that about me. And then here's the characteristics that I project about myself to other people. If we were literally to list those out, generally what we'll find is that we hold a lower self-image, like the image we have about ourselves internally is generally quite low. We kind of beat ourselves up internally. And sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes we'll have an image that we project that's actually higher than what we feel about ourselves, or even what others feel about us. I'll give you an example of that second one, where projecting a certain image and other people going, yeah, no, I don't really think that about you. So one for me, for example, is compassion. I think I'm a pretty compassionate person, but compassion is shown in different ways. Compassion can sometimes look like, oh, well, don't worry, it'll work out, and I'm sure it's not as bad as you think, and it's okay, I'm here, and look like that. But often, my compassion looks a little bit more like, okay, wake up. I think that's compassionate, because why wallow in this misery of life when you can wake up to what's really happening here and move on, expand and move on, but why sit and wallow? Well, that doesn't always look compassionate to people. So that's just an example of thinking I'm really good and other people kind of going, maybe not. And then the courage one, really projecting a high, like, hey, I'm really courageous, and really inside I'm feeling not as courageous as I project. So that misalignment of what we project externally and what we feel about ourselves internally, that misalignment, when those are misaligned, is actually a signal to us that our third eye is blocked. It's interesting, because here's the knee-jerk reaction about what most people will do when they say, oh, so it's a misalignment? Well, here, I can fix that really easily. I'm going to take all of my outer image, that beautiful outer image that, I'm so compassionate and I'm courageous and I'm the most wonderful person in the world, and I'm just going to make that what I think about myself. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get rid of all the negative crap and the stuff that I project, which I don't necessarily believe right now, but the stuff that I project, I'm just going to make myself believe that. That's called positive thinking. That's what the positive thinking approach is they take kind of this junk that we project externally, which really may not be real either, and we take that junk and we try and push it internally. And that's kind of the concept behind a lot of the positive thinking movements. So sometimes that's what we'll do. We'll pull our outer identity and think, okay, well, I'm just going to become that outer identity. That's it. If I'm trying to align myself, that's what I'm going to do. So that's one thing that we do, but it's really not that effective, as you may have seen with some of the positive thinking movements. But the other thing that we do is we just say, okay, well then I'm just going to share who I really am. I'm going to share the good, bad, and the ugly, and who cares? If I feel like a powerless person, I'm just going to put it all out there. Here I am, I'm the biggest powerless person you can meet. I'm afraid all the time, and that's just who I am. The thing about that, of course, is because we've been talking a lot about our thoughts create our words create our actions create our life creates our reality. When we put that out continuously, sort of our low self-esteem, the internal image we have about ourselves, and we just kind of keep talking that out to people, when we keep putting that out, we keep inviting that in, because our words and our thoughts create our reality. So we keep creating whatever image that we put out. So if we're putting out this image of I'm always afraid, then we're always going to feel afraid, because that's what we keep creating. So those are the two most common things that we do. We try and take our good qualities, and even though we don't really believe them about ourselves, we just kind of pretend we believe them. Or we take our bad qualities and say, oh, I'm just going to be all of that, and then we keep having the experience of those bad qualities. Really, it becomes a little bit more of a reconciliation, between the two. One of the things that we can literally do when we're trying to get that alignment stronger and to heal whatever may be blocking the third eye, we can really look at what's our external image that we're projecting, and what part of that external image will my internal identity, the internal me, it just simply won't accept it. And then we decide not to project that. We just decide not to empower that anymore. And similarly so, whatever we carry as our internal chatter about who we are, which part of that internal chatter will our external identity simply not accept. And then we just decide not to carry and empower those anymore. So it becomes about really reconciling that we really believe ourselves to be, and that we really believe ourselves that we want to grow in and expand to. So it's not getting rid of one list and just living from the other, or getting rid of the other list and living from the one. It's really seriously looking at both lists. How do I project myself, and what do I tell myself about myself? And going, which ones really are the ones that I can live with, and that I want to, and even though I may not be there yet, that I want to expand into. Okay? So that's how we heal that third eye block, through our actions and our thoughts. So let's switch topics now to the crown chakra. Okay? So the crown chakra is associated with the pituitary gland. The element, there's actually no element. The mantra, there's actually no mantra either. So the thought current, the negative thought current that will block the crown chakra is discontentment and frustration, and kind of an attitude of taking life for granted. We're really here to expand into our biggest possibility of ourselves. And we exist in life through relationship. I am a daughter because I have a mother. I'm a sister because I have a brother and sister. I'm a mother because I have children. And I'm an employee because I have a boss. And I'm a boss because I have employees. So we exist in relationship. That's how our expansion happens. It happens not just internally, but it happens through relationship as well. So not only are we here on this total self-serving journey to expand ourselves, we're also here to help expand others. And the term I will use for that is the term enriching. So we're here to really expand and enrich others in their journey as well. So whatever other people are trying to achieve, you know how we talked about incompletions, where we have a goal and here we are now, and we're trying to get to this goal, and there's a bunch of incompletions that keep us stuck and prevent us from getting to our goal. Well, everybody else around us experiences the same thing. And so enriching really becomes, how do we help other people achieve the goals that are important for them? So then not only are we expanding, but we're also helping the people around us to expand. That's sort of the fundamental about, it creates a sort of a fundamental backdrop or story to the crown chakra. Because what happens with the crown chakra is that it is blocked when we decide to close ourselves off from relationships, and we decide to not enrich and help to expand others. So when we decide that we're just going to kind of, I'm just here for my own journey, that's, this is all I'm doing, it's just about me, and we really close ourselves off and we don't make effort to help to enrich others in their journey, then we're really blocking our crown chakra. In terms of how do we heal our crown chakra through action, we do that by enriching ourselves, so expanding ourselves, and expanding others. and not giving up on ourselves, because the minute we give up on ourselves, we give up on the reason why we're here, which is to expand into our biggest possibility of ourselves. So not expanding means really kind of giving up on ourselves, and not helping others to expand is really about giving up on them as well. So the crown chakra really begins to collapse when we're fundamentally not happy with our life. And we feel most, we feel most content when we are growing and expanding ourselves. So the way to heal the crown chakra from an action perspective, what to do, is to always be expanding ourselves and also always helping others to expand. All right?